Alrighty. Hello, everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do get started, let me go ahead and give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of events happening. Deku and Chloe, they were out in Las Vegas at the Gamora, celebrating Deku's birthday and the destruction of the Brotherhood of Steel. Now, this was discovered whenever a group that came to set up the embassy in the Ultralux, they went over to the Gamora after hearing from Mr. House about Deku's arrival. All they know is he went on some sort of mission. Then they heard that he apparently was taking the day off, and that it kind of did piss them off. However, whenever the group finally met up with Deku, they found him dancing on stage, and Evelyn was quite alarmed at the fact she now has witnesses to the story she has made claims about. Now, small victories. And speaking of victories, she learned the NCR, they're doing quite a bit of things. And the Brotherhood of Steel is currently destroyed. That is the best thing they've learned. President Kimball will be in tomorrow. Meanwhile, Deku went in to go report to the overseers about the Brotherhood. And after hearing about this, they made things quite clear to him. They took a vote and even addressed some issues they had with Deku. They've addressed the Sierra Madre incident. The fact that Deku, well, he has had, from what his therapist has talked to him about, certain nightmares, dreams, bouts of anger and rage, he's mostly kept himself contained to the gym. And he hasn't had any hostile action towards any Vault Dwellers outside of combat sparring with other mutants. Now, they're not sure how a man who's been through what he's been through is as adjusted as he is. But he's dangerous. He didn't break after going through everything up on the surface. And from what they're hearing back from the therapist, some people have broken from it. Now, they gave Deku the provincial title as an overseer. This is for a number of reasons. People have done and taken reckless actions on the surface. People also have heard about Deku disregarding the chain of command only for it to later benefit everybody in the vault. Right now, if they do make him part of the chain of command, then that means people will not use him as an example of breaking the rules. They will use him as an example of someone who makes the rules, who enforces them. This is a pony show, however. They're only doing this so people don't disobey orders or try to be just like Deku. It is a bit of a problem. They've already had more people die than they would like. And this is hopefully a preventative measure and showing their residents that things are not the way they do seem. With the Brotherhood destroyed, their main threats currently are the NCR and Caesar's Legion. The Legion, it's quite simple. Cut communication, Caesar dies of his brain cancer. The NCR, however, they're not too sure about that. They break this bridge, burn it, then they're not sure what exactly happens to them. But they can't team up with the Brotherhood, and they can't team up with the Legion. They are on their own. Their people back in California are cut off. They have the resources in the Mojave. That means Vegas, the traders, or them. 3 major players, and some don't exactly agree with the NCR, especially after their harsh treatment of the locals over the last decade. Now then, with that all being said, let's currently pick up now. President Kimball, he was very wary of today. He wanted to do this at the Ultralux. However, people informed him that that place is not currently a place he can go to. The overseers would rather meet him at their vault, have the home field advantage. The man, he can understand that. That's something that he would do. But he needs to make sure to play this a bit more carefully. He's been here for the last 2 weeks, hiding in Vegas, keeping an eye on things and seeing exactly how they go in the area. He heard about what happened at the Ultralux, and it was quite gruesome. That guy is the right hand of the overseers, possibly a renegade person that is from their vault. He's quite interested in the experiments that have happened there. The Enclave were in the region and they were wiped out by the Vault Dwellers. Fact of the matter is, that is something quite interesting. But these rumors and claims of the Deathclaw Man, the reports he's gotten back, he did not believe. Now, however, he is forced to face something. There are mutants that do exist that aren't super mutants, and they have been hiding in the Mojave. If they can get those people on their side, they can have a massive fighting force that could replace a dozen soldiers in power armor if they're lucky. Push the Legion back and take Vegas. Take the dam and hope they can support their people back home. That is a major thing he has going through his mind. Though right now, he is concerned about a lot of other things. Right now, he does sit in a Jeep. And he's still quite alarmed at the fact of moving vehicles coming and going from Vegas. Pre-war technology. That they do have running. There's another Jeep behind him. There's also a large truck. They mentioned how someone may believe he's inside the vehicle, but that's not true. That vehicle is full of resources they're taking back to the vault in order to either process, break down, or hand off to their society. A truck that does have the latest supply of caps they're bringing in from the Silver Rush. And right now, the president does get to sit there. The man to his left, he got his name. Though, he's just a bit alarmed looking at him. He has horns, and he claims that he's not the Deathclaw Man. But I mean, the spots on his elbows that almost look like rigid points, the eyes, the way his skin looks. I mean, he looks like he's been kissed by the sun, like a soldier. But he knows that he's got thicker skin, right? I mean, he's a mutant. Mutants are bulletproof to a point. Until they're not. Though, he does have some bit of comfort at the two men in power armor sitting behind him. Along with the fact that there is his other men behind them. It's a bit weird. Right now the convoy pulling to a bit of a stop as someone, they do go to land on the truck. Right now, Michael going to stand up to his full height of over 9 feet tall. And he does begin to start shrinking back down as he does bring a hand down to his radio on his vest. And whenever he does go to raise it up, he does go to talk about it. Right now, he doesn't see anything up ahead. Though, with all this sand still around, it's a bit hard to see. They might be hiding in the spots. They need to keep moving and make sure to keep an eye out for anything. Him going to turn as another person does go to land. However, this woman does have wings coming out of her back instead of her arms changing. And Haley, she does go to raise her goggles and talk about it. She doesn't see anything up ahead for the next 5 miles. Though it's good to get out and stretch her wings. Right. What about the others? Well, Sam, I don't know. He hasn't said anything. Isabel and Felix, they might still be out scouting. From my understanding, they're making it look like we're taking false paths, checking up ahead, and hopefully scouring everybody. Though anyone close by will get to know the convoy. As for the ground team, have you heard anything back? No. I think that means we're clear. The two nodding to each other as Michael does speak into his radio, informing them of the current situation. And the vehicles, they do begin to start moving again. The two standing there and going to look around the entire area, goggles on their faces. And Kimball, he can definitely respect the Vault Dwellers. They do have an understanding of military dichotomy. They understand vigilance. And they do understand the situation they're in. They're being cautious. That does make sense. They don't know what the Legion will try, and with the Brotherhood still out there, that is another big threat. Something his own guards are wary of. He would have liked to take a vertibird, but that might as well have painted a target on his back. The Vault Dwellers haven't been using those unless it's in certain situations that are authorized. This isn't one of them. And he can understand that. Too high profile. Too flashy from his understanding. And right now, they do arrive at the airport. They make one more stop to check the area. Right now, reporting in about nothing and nothing. Before they do go to pull up to the vault and into the airport. And right now, there is where the vehicles are quickly pulled into a hangar in Kimball, his eyes do go wide. He looked around the area and saw the mutants sparring at the other end of the runway. His guards were freaking out a little bit. They turned their heads and made a few comments. Though at the fact that there were people standing around and watching the groups fighting, nothing much was really said. The people working on the old world vehicles and aircrafts didn't even bat an eye to it. In fact, whenever they heard exclamations, they turned their heads and started laughing a bit. Some not even turning to see the commotion at all. And that did alarm him. President Kimball, he does go to step off of the vehicle and go to look. Right now, he does go to see an old world vehicle. A large truck. And it's being worked on. An army vehicle, maybe? And this thing could definitely haul supplies. Or haul a massive amount of troops. That's something. Though what does it catch his eye even more is the tank that does go to sit on the other side of the vehicle. Right now, he does just get to glare at it. His eye is hungry for information. And he does go to be pulled aside by someone informing him. He doesn't have the jurisdiction to be here. The man going to turn and stare at another Vault Dweller. The man raising a wrench and poking him in his pressed suit jacket. They don't fucking care right now if he's the president of the NCR. They don't care if he's Kaiser himself. He doesn't care if he's the goddamn king of Spain or the fucking queen of England. Right now, he needs to go meet with the overseers. So back away from the projects they're trying to work on. They've had enough shit to deal with lately. In Kimball, he does go to be pulled away, but one of his guards do come walking over in the suit of T-51. Right now, him going to glare at the man. At least the man does assume that is what he's trying to do. He's trying to act a bit intimidating, though a voice does go to cut in. Gentlemen, someone going to walk over as people do go to turn. And there does currently stand Deku, along with the other overseers. And everyone, they do go to suddenly jump and turn, going to spin that way as one of the overseers does it to bellow out, "At ease!" to everyone. And they do go back to what they were exactly doing. And Kimball, he does get to see that. Right now, him stepping forwards and expressing. He does have to say, it was quite a surprise to learn that their vault has multiple overseers. Though it certainly does explain something. They have a military bearing. Yes, our ancestors were all from before the war. They do make up the bulk of the United States military. They did, before things went to hell. Knowing that now, it is understandable the location that we were brought to. Though it does also explain how they got here so fast. I see. That's rather interesting. And, you must be Mr. Midoriya, the Deathclaw man. Deku stepping forwards. The guards going to try and step forwards as Deku does going to raise a hand. Talking about it. Izuku's fine. Right now, he is here to know how things do play out. Fact of the matter is, there's a lot of information they've got to go over. I'm well aware. I heard of your escapades in Vegas, and how you've met with Courier 6. He is a well-known NCR terrorist. So is the Legion and the Brotherhood. You've got quite a few of those, President Kimball. Yes, well, we're still trying to clean up the region. Do a lot, but we do find ourselves rather, well, stonewalled. I'm well aware. I've asked around and learned a lot in my time on the surface. Like how you have failed for the last decade to secure Hoover Dam from the Legion and keep the territory safe. Your occupation of the area was thought to be possible. Your actions have been harsh by some of your own people, but also brutal by others. But you do believe that it is this firm action that has helped you stay in the region for as long as you have. That is a fair assessment. Not the words I would have used. No, but I am rather blunt, sir. Now, let's go. We do have a meeting to attend to. Him going to turn, walking back to the elevator as everyone, they do come stepping in. The guards being pulled back by some. And right now, there is where Kimball, he does return, looking at his men and looking back. And Deku does inform them. Go ahead and just press the button. We spent quite a bit of time trying to fix this elevator shaft into the vault properly. Some things have had to be reworked, but it does work. Just press the bottom button. The man going to nod. When the elevator does get to close, Deku, he does go to talk about it. So, do they think it'll work? It does debatable, Mr. Midoriya. Yes, this all does rely on multiple things. His reaction was a bit calmer than we were expecting with that question. Rather blunt, aren't you? Yes, sir. I am. Though, it is a good way to gauge his reaction. That's why I'm here, isn't it? To see how he reacts to me? It is. It quite is. His guards are rather jumpy. Yeah, well, everyone around them is surrounded in power armor. or working on things that they thought to be relics. Yes, the hunger in his eyes. Did you see it, Stanford? I saw it, Barnett. I saw it. He certainly was hungry for it. A tank. What do you think he'd give up for that? He might sell his own mother. Possibly. Though, this charade with Evelyn, are you sure it's proper? Or quite sure? It should be a good charade. Though, as for what we do need to talk to him about, them stepping out of the elevator, it should mean quite a bit. If he does believe that he is misinterpreting the situation, that can definitely mean something. It may aid them to learn more. Miss Pickett's requirement and influence in this operation may be quite vital. There may be a promotion out of this for her. Deku nodding his head. The elevator going back up as they do continue to talk about quite a few things. When there is where the elevator does come back down, the NCR president, him and his men are led into the vaults. And he is blown away at the sheer fact this place, it's way bigger on the inside. He tried figuring out how many floors they might have had. But that shaft does only lead down into a room. One that, upon further inspection, does show that they did kind of have to improvise multiple things. Though, trying to take them through the path of the Enclave base is not something they wish to do. Hiding the cryogenic facility will be the better option for now. And they do take the men over to a meeting room, where, when they all do go to sit down, the guards, they do go to sit there. Right now, there is vault security, as there currently is Adrian. There is Victor. There currently is Travis. And there is also Julia, along with Andrea. Right now, it does consist of mutants. And President Kimball does go to look at all of them, try and figure out what exactly they might be. And whenever Deku does get to sit down, he does go to look around. Right now, staring at everybody. It does certainly mean something. Okay, the meeting will start, and things will get boring. It going exactly as planned. Right now, they do start to discuss possible reasons why the NCR has taken so long in their deliberation of coming here. And President Kimball has his explanation. It took quite a bit of time for him to reach the region. Going around the irradiated areas wasn't exactly easy. Along with expanding outwards from California in a different direction, it has been a little bit of a strain in their home region. It's been troublesome. I see. Well, it does mean something. Now, as for what is happening with you and the people here, I believe it is only pertinent for us to understand why you and your people have yet to retreat. Your occupation of Hoover Dam may be more unlikely than you expect now. Your region is devastated with nuclear attack. And right now, the NCR has been split into two different groups. We are not two separate factions. We're one. The people here do still take orders from me. Yes, you think that. However, it's kind of hard to take orders from someone who's 500 miles away and can't reach you. How long did it take you to get here? It took me some time. But message eventually did come through. After how long? It is unimportant. What is important right now is we do discuss things for possibly having an alliance. I will not mince words. We will be needing resources from your group and your faction. That is a tough sell, but possible, though it may come at a bit more of a higher cost than you do believe. The door sliding open, and Evelyn does come walking in right now in a summer dress. Right now, her in a blue dress and with her hair done up. Her going to step in with two other people, and they do to set some stuff down onto the table. Some sweet rolls, some cookies, and a pot of tea and coffee, along with some coffee mugs that the third person does gotta bring in. And a woman does come strolling over. Her sitting down a steak directly in front of Deku. Before she does place herself directly on his lap sideways. Before she does go to lean in and talk about it. There's a lot going on. She doesn't exactly believe it's what they say. Now laugh. uh, yeah, maybe so, Evelyn, but I think we can save that for later. I'm a bit in a meeting, babe. Oh, fine. Though, could I stay? Maybe. But I will have to talk to you about this later, babe. Fine. Though, I'm just curious a bit more about the surface. Her going to turn and stare directly at the president, throwing her elbows onto the table and staring at the man. Not what she was expecting. She was expecting someone a little bit more seasoned. Hello. Is this your woman? One of them. Though, she does try to make me happy. Deku bring a hand up into the small of her back, patting it, talking about it. Though, she will be staying here. She has been interested about a few things, and he does believe that this could be very good. Her going to turn and smile. Before the man does go to narrow his eyes and talk about it. Turning and going to grab a sweet roll and going to pour himself a cup of coffee. And he does go to express. Do they mind? No, you do not need to worry about that. Them going to fill their own refreshments. And President Kimball's mind is trying to understand what the hell is going on. I mean, fresh pastries, some of the best he's ever had, and this coffee, some sort of pre-war blend. It's some damn good coffee. Shit. And that smell. That's a steak. A Brahmin steak? Deku going to slice into it. And when he does go to bring it up lathered in sauce, he does take a bite. Him quietly eating the meal and going to glance over at President Kimball. You need something? Him going to put the piece of meat in his mouth and pull out his fork. You're eating a Brahmin steak. Or is that the other creature? Bighorner? No. This is cow. We have those down here. Cows. Pre-war creatures. Yes, that is part of our farm. We grow a number of things here. In fact, down here we have our own society. We need quite a lot to feed 1,000 people. Industrialization is not easy, though our factions are cut into multiple people. Different sections of it. Right now, Overseer Conrad going to express. He's in charge of agriculture. They have well over enough food to feed over 1,300 people. In fact, they've been increasing their operation because of the mutants. Even then, keeping up with their need for food has been a bit challenging. Some of them do prefer to hunt on the surface. Hell, Cynthia, she fucking drained a cow dry once. Not even a metaphor. It was terrifying. Cynthia? She has the lower half of a giant spider. Deku's saying, taking up another piece of meat and sliding it into his mouth. And President Kimball does just gonna stare at Deku with a bit of a blank face. And whenever he does to realize that Deku is not joking, he does get a nod. I see. As for ammunition production, we can produce a number of things. We've done so for a number of generations. Though, you're asking questions we can give you an answer to with a file. Now, if you are done trying to poke and prod us, we would like to get to the heart of this discussion. You're straightforward, so I can respect that. Though I do have my own concerns, specifically in regards to Mr. Midoriya. Evelyn telling Deku telepathically. His regards are about a number of other things. Such as, Deku gonna say, well, after your incident with the Ultralux, we would like some assurance that you are not a threat to us. Sure, and that would be potentially a vehicle of sorts, along with suits of your power armor. And that is a big ask. But I believe that you should know Mr. Midoriya has done a number of things. And it isn't Mr. Midoriya. It's Overseer Midoriya to you, President Kimball. Him turning to look directly at Deku. And whenever Deku does give the man a smile, he does go to glare at him, trying to be a bit more cautious. He is an overseer. I will not mince words. I believe that it is a terrible decision. He did earn the position. He destroyed the Brotherhood of Steel in the Mojave. He did what? Yep. That was 3 days ago. You may not have heard yet. They're all dead. And they will no longer be a problem for the NCR. Go ahead and make sure you pay us their bounty. Or, if you do need more assurance, we're hunting down the remnants of the Enclave. We have some of their people in custody, and interrogation has been slow yet effective. You mean torture? I mean interrogation, President Kimball. Now, may I have permission to speak freely, Overseers? Approved, 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 denied. All of them going to stare. As Deku does express, if they wanted to be a threat, he would rally the mutants behind him to eviscerate them. And that is all he does have to say. Each one of them is capable of doing things he can do, although none of them are exactly as hard to kill as he is. He can say that with quite a bit of certainty. And that does then bring me to the FEV. We will not allow you to have access to that information. That information can change the tide of the war. I see. Well, you should understand. A number of our people died from experiments with it. What it currently is that exists today is because of hundreds of lives. Yes, and what I'm proposing could save thousands of lives. I don't believe that this is going to go as I wish it to go. You want the FEV serum. You crush Caesar and then what? Come after us? We are the ones that gave it to you. We know how it works. I don't exactly see that going very well, Mr. Kimball. Let's see. I can make concessions for weapons. I wish to purchase massive quantities of them from your organization. If I can, vehicles, anything that can help us against the Legion. And us? You're asking people to pay taxes on land they've lived on for their whole lives. You're not exactly benefiting the locals of Vegas. Your reach isn't what it used to be. We need to win the dam. Need or want, President Kimball? Because you do appear to be quite angered by this. It is my understanding that you are a war hero of the NCR. Yes, I am. Mr. Midoriya is a war hero to our vault. He has stopped countless people and the next coming generations from potentially being experimented on. Now, were you saying that your authority, your word, is not as good as someone else's? In fact, he has done you a favor. He has. I will admit that. But I believe I've gotten myself off on the wrong foot. What exactly do you wish out of this trade? If we are to make an alliance, President Kimball, we would need to make it on equal footing. There is some information we cannot give to you, nor authorize to you. However, there are a number of things we can do for you. We can extend our own operations into agriculture. See about using some of our stockpiles and sell it off to you as food in bulk. That should help alleviate the strain on your food supply. As for what's happening in the region with the GEC, we believe that that will have a significant impact in the quality of farming in the region as well. Soil is already becoming way more fertile than it has been in centuries, possibly even from before the war. If we do activate a secondary GEC, we do believe that this will have great impact in the region. President Kimball leaning forwards and going to sip his coffee, expressing, "How so?" Well, for one, it is a number of things. It can speed up and help increase the rate of which soil in the region does grow. It expands and does change and transform. Another thing is, you have noticed the occasional raindrops, the occasional showers. The occasional showers. We do believe that they may increase or decrease temperature, become more frequent, or possibly turn into different types of storms. A radiation storm? No. Radiation is being filtered out of the area. That is the biggest advantage we do have. The Garden of Eden is just that. It will purify everything in the Mojave. This is beneficial to us. We already do have a secondary location, but that does then raise another question. What can you tell me about Bitter Springs? The man going to fall silent. And the guards, Deku, he does hear a bit of a chuckle from Evelyn. Her doing it telepathically and talking about it. She wishes she could see their faces. Ah, it does mean quite a bit. Him nodding his head. Bitter Springs was not something you can just overlook. Your men have made tactical errors in judgment. How do you feel about this? I was not in charge of the operation. You weren't, but your opinion? My opinion will not change what has happened. It is a tragedy, yes. One that should not have happened to innocent people. But wartime strategies and tactics are not always cut and dry. It is unfortunate. He's full of shit. He was going to say it doesn't matter. They were just stepping stones. This is ruthless as Kaiser, isn't he? Her turning and informing the other overseers about this. And right now, they do to keep their poker faces, though they do get a push. Really. You haven't had these men reprimanded, changed out of rotation, taken off of duty. You haven't had them arrested for the crime. As I said, I've gone over the incident myself. What they did was not good. There was a miscommunication, and they didn't understand what was happening at the time. They thought it was another fighting force coming to attack them. But that was wrong. From our understanding, you knew the canyon was going to be an escape point from the reports I've heard. So, why exactly does a camp need an escape point? Some place that they know they can go and get out quickly if they're attacked. We thought it might have been a funnel. Something that if we were to try and attempt to go through, they would attack us. If so, why was it not booby-trapped? I do not know. I see. Is that your official statement to us? It is. But getting back to negotiations. That is for food. Ammunition you can manufacture, correct? Correct, yes. Though, varying types and degrees, that is a bit more, well, difficult. How so? We don't have unlimited resources down here, from what you may think looking around our area. Yes, we have mined certain materials we have found and discovered down here. But we have a stockpile that is over 2 centuries old of material to use. A lot of material has been used to expand our vault and accommodate all of our additional residents, along with build certain centers for training and taking on more and more of this area. We have also begun increasing our own population requirements. I see. So there is going to be more vault dwellers. Our society needs to expand. We wish to have Hoover Dam. Is that a requirement? It's something. We want an alliance. We want to make sure we don't get screwed out of this. Your intentions are quite clear to us. You want the dam to be part of your territory, but you don't even know where your territory starts and ends. Have you redrawn a map? We have. And what do you know about it? Vegas is outside your reach and terrain, isn't it? Vegas is a territory we wish to claim. It is beneficial to our people back home. If we lose it, the NCR will suffer. I understand that. All of us do. However, your actions only benefit the NCR. I see. Yes, President Kimball. It is rather unfortunate, but we believe that an alliance may not be possible with you. That is absurd. As we said, an alliance may not be possible with you. However, if you do wish to continue negotiations for food supply and or possible other supplies, we can certainly give them to you. Are you serious? Yes. Just because we don't wish to fight with you does not mean we cannot be neighborly. Help our neighbors in need. It is something carried on from the old world. Do you understand this? We can make negotiations at your embassy in the Strip. Further discussions and talks will be handled there, if that is all right. It is. We do hope to build trust and see about trying this again at some other point in the future. The overseer is all going to stand. And Deku, he does go to offer President Kimball a nod, as the woman still sitting on his lap does go to curl a finger on his shoulder. And when they do all go to stand to leave, being escorted out of the room, Evelyn does go to quickly jump up and go to turn. Her going to shake her arms up in the air, talking about it. Okay, so that does mean a bit. You alright? Arms are a little numb. Playing the doting housewife is a little odd. Your assessment, Miss Pickett. He's full of shit. He's like Kaisar, and he's trying to get his way. From my understanding, he's running a draconian army. He's no better than Caesar, he just isn't as ruthless. At least in his own mind. He has the mind of a soldier, understanding he needs to get things done a certain way in order to fulfill the mission. I can respect him for that, but his overall attempt is what needs work. He's willing to sacrifice lives, just like the Legion. Oh, I see. He's the less brutal one. That would be correct. So we need to figure out a way to handle him. Yes, we do. As for Courier 6, that is a whole other debate. Evelyn, I couldn't read his mind. I've told you that before, but I don't understand how that's possible. The guy's got cybernetics. He may have a plate in his skull. No, I don't know if that's how that works. I mean, maybe, but it's weird. He shouldn't be able to shield his thoughts from me. Even with the riot helmet on, I can hear his thoughts. Someone's thoughts. But not his. I've tried. Even without the helmet, I don't know. It's so fucking weird. We've tested this out with John. How's John doing? He's doing better. But that's not what I'm talking about. I can't read Courier 6's mind. That is what terrifies me. I can read everybody else, and I'm fucking terrified of what's in your head. Deku going to stare at the finger pointed in his face. Her going to stare at her fingernails and going to somewhat stare at the nail polish she had to use. Annoyed and letting out a breath. If they do need to meet with Courier 6, she may not need to be involved. Perhaps. Overseers, we're debating it. I'll leave you to that, sir. Him going to stand, as he does his step out to leave. Though Deku, he does to stop and turn. Overseers. Them going to look up at him. The mutants filing out past him as Deku does going to watch them leave. And he does go to express. He does wish to let them know of a request Courier 6 has made of him. They gave him information about the Enclave, and while he is going to go see the Enclave prisoners in a moment, he was hoping to discuss possibly giving him a vehicle of theirs. A vehicle. Yes. A motorcycle. Or possibly an ATV. I do not believe it to be a weaponized vehicle, and it is very interesting he made this request. It goes against Kaiser's doctrine. I see. You believe him to be a potential enemy. I believe him to be a potential ally. I've been discussing certain things to him, and if they are beneficial to us, well, I believe that the overseers would quite like to continue this relationship with him. He says he can get me a particular item I joked about once. And this item would be highly dangerous. How so? Well, it's more dangerous than the T-80. Or, if I do have to give you another example, us. We will need to figure out how to deliver it. But I do believe that given the right circumstance, we may be able to make a statement. You believe so? Yes, overseers. Be it the Legion or the NCR. President Kimball is more wary of us now. We understand that one. Yes, that was made quite aware. Evelyn will give us a full, detailed report, which we will go over and then begin making our own decision. Yes, I understand this. But the item of interest, it is something we will need to act on quickly. Do I have approval for this? We'll need a large vehicle to transport it. I see. Anything else? Do I have approval on giving him a motorcycle? Giving him a vehicle? To build trust. You do, but he will need to be aware. He will either need to power it on the fusion cells, or we can convert it to run that way fully if he does not want gasoline. Well, the cells might be better for him. I see. Well, it shouldn't take that long then. We can give him a full tank as a show of good faith. But if he does come around here filling up the tank all the time, that may become an issue shortly afterward. I understand. Him nodding his head and going to leave. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.